everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Pan American Journey. We're here again today at Puerto Aysen, getting ready to depart on our next leg. Just going over a few items here on the free trip, and then we will get going. As you can see, the passengers have already loaded in. We have 5 passengers with us on board today. Got about a 60, I believe it's 61 or 66 nautical miles to the north. To a place called Puyuhuapi, I believe it's called. Puyuhuapi, something like that. Still in Chile. And we'll have that one leg up there, and then we'll see what kind of jobs we can get out of there to the north, kind of onwards to our next destination, which is yet to be determined, so... Just kind of doing a quick preliminary pre-flight here. It's been a few days since we arrived here, so I just want to check everything over. Being an AccuSim aircraft, even if it's been, say, you know, a week or a month or a year since you've flown in the simulator, even though that time has not been actively running in the simulator, the aircraft itself actually keeps track of how long it has been sitting. So if you know, don't fly in the simulator for a year, this aircraft is still going to simulate that it's sat for a year. So just checking the fluids, checking the oil, which looks fine. Don't see any obstructions in the engines. So we should be good to go. I looked it over more thoroughly earlier, did a full inspection on it, and everything seems to be alright. So we'll get closed up. I already called and got our clearance a little while ago from the center. And so yeah, now all we have to do is just get on our way. So make sure our controls are configured correctly here, which they are. Got pretty much full tanks today, 5 passengers plus ourselves, so we're pretty heavy on the takeoff weight. I think we're just under max takeoff weight here. Yeah, max takeoff weight 5,500 pounds, and we're 5,475 pounds, so pretty much max gross here. Right, pre-flight's completed. We've already briefed the passengers. Everyone's seatbelts are on. The doors are closed and locked. Battery and ignition. That's good. Let's find the gears down. Flaps are up. We've checked that visually as well. Brakes. Confirm. Flight controls are free. We've already tested those. Parking brakes set. All the switches are off. Battery on. Gear lock lights are 3 green. Elevator and rudder trims are neutral. Hydraulic shutoff is open. Fuel checked. We've got like 135 pounds on board, about 50 pounds in each wing tank. Well, it's a little less. And then about 41, 42 pounds in the center fuselage tank. So we're all good there. Low fuel warning is off. Circuit breakers are all in. Just double check that. It should all be. Yep. And the altimeter and clock have been set. Altimeter just resetting it there, and the clock is good. 1545 Zulu, which is equivalent to 1150 local. Interesting. That clock is off by a couple of minutes. Is that just a bug? I think that's just a bug. There we go. Now it's synced up. But actually, interesting enough, the clock did have the correct time and the sim was kind of ahead of us, so it was strange. All right, anyways. Just start checklist. So the props are full forward. Mixtures are cut off. Yep, okay, the batteries are on. Boost pump on. Come on. There we go. Right engine started. It's at 1,000 RPM. Gonna turn the right alternator on. A little temperature here is coming up. All right, we'll go ahead and start. Then turn on a beacon again. Go ahead and start the left engine as well. No, doesn't want to start for us. Okay, let's prime on it some more. Let's just give it a minute to sit. I might have flooded it a little bit. We'll just give it a minute or two, and it's a little cool in here. So we'll turn on cabin heat. I believe it's middle switch, or maybe it's this one open. No, that's cabin air. So yeah, it should be that middle switch there. That middle lever. And we also have to turn on the fan. The blower's on, but the fan has to be on. Okay, and now boost pumps on. Let's give it a little prime, not too much. Come on. All right, there we go. Left alternator on. Boost pump, I forgot to turn it off. Outside air temperature, we're looking at about 40 something degrees Fahrenheit, or about 8 to 10 degrees. No, about 5 to 6 degrees Celsius. So go ahead and turn on the pitot heat. don't think we need the gauge lighting just yet. Alrighty. Everything else seems to be in good order. The temperature's coming up here a little bit. I believe it's this. It's the defrost. Move the transponder to altitude. You'll see here on the route, we are just kind of a direct IFR. It's only 60-something nautical miles, so honestly, I might see if we can just cancel IFR and we'll just fly VFR up this whatever you want to call it, this inlet, come out here and then fly up this one. Might see about doing that, honestly. We'll call up center before we taxi out while the engines are warming up and see what they have to say. Commodore Rivadavia Center, Aerostar, November 702 Sierra Bravo. We'd like to cancel our IFR clearance at this time and request VFR flight following departure to the west.
Stand by, you're number one.
See how that works.
Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo, IFR clearance cancelled. Stand by for VFR flight following.
Alright. Seems to have worked so far, at least. Bump up our left throttle here a bit. Temperature's warming up in here. Let's see. This is defrost temp on air. Okay, so I can close the defrost. I can close the temperature a little better. Actually starting to pick up a little bit of some kind of precipitation here, so that's kind of yucky, but hopefully that will clear up before we head out here. I'm gonna go ahead and start taxiing. We'll put our noise canceling headphones on here. Just double check that we started the flight in FS economy, which we have. It's good. Alright, left landing light on for taxi. The little temperature still coming up a little bit on the left, so we'll just wait, see if they ever call us back for VFR flight following here. And we do need to do our run up anyways, so we'll start taxiing to the runway. Now the flags, at least, seem to be supporting that wind is kind of coming from the west, so we should be able to depart to the west. One would assume, at least. And I need to check on NAVIGRAPH. I don't actually remember what runway this is here. We'll stop here, hold short line. Runway 25. Okay, there's no other traffic here, so I'm just going to call back center. Once we're in the air. Puerto Aysen traffic, Aerostar number 702 Sierra Bravo. We'll be back taxiing runway 25 from the apron. This weather is actually closing in pretty quickly on us here. If I would have known it was going to start to get so nasty all of a sudden, we would have stayed IFR. But hindsight's 20/20. We can always pick it back up. $72 in here now. It's a little warm. According to this, the wind is extremely gusty. Or, I mean, maybe not gusty, but extremely variable. I don't know if you guys could see that, but the wind direction indicator was all over the place. Now I'm thinking that the flags maybe are not the most reliable. Wow, look at this weather. We're going to call center back up and get our IFR clearance back if we can. Let's kind of just taxi off over here. Puerto Aysen traffic, Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo. We'll be holding just off the end of 25 here for our run-up, and we have to call center. We'll be back this frequency about 5 to 10 minutes. Alright, yeah, we're gonna do our run-up and we'll switch over to center and see if we can get our IFR back. Come W Center, Aerostar, November 702 Sierra Bravo. We'd actually like to pick back up our IFR clearance to Sierra Charlie Papa Hotel if possible. The weather minimums have dropped here quite a bit.
Clearance on request, you're number 1.
And now we'll do our run-up while we wait.
Aerostar November 702 Sierra Bravo, Commodore control departure, cleared to SCPH. After departure, fly radar vectors SCPH, then as filed. Initial climb to 8,000, departure on 124.3 squawk 4651. Release for departure. Clearance void, if not off by 1514 Zulu, time now 1459er.
Cleared radar vectors, Sierra Charlie Papa Hotel, then as filed. Initial climb 8,000, departure 124.3, squawking 4651. Clearance void, 1514 Zulu, Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo. So good and well.
Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo, read back correct. Tower will be on 119.9er.
I think that's accurate, because there is no tower here that I'm aware of. Wait, that looks good. Up to 2100. I meant to lean our mixtures on the ground here, but I didn't. So we'll just do that now, just roughly. Right, we'll cycle our propellers. $79 in here, goodness gracious. See if we can get it cooled down any. Let me turn the fan to low. Right, mag check. Right mag, about 100 drop. Back to both. Left mag, about 100 drop. Back to both. Right, left engine. Right mag, about 100 drop. Back to both. Left mag, 100 drop, back to both. Okay. Those all look pretty good. Back to 1,000 RPM. Let's get our checklist pulled up here. And through these, let's see, we did that. All right, before takeoff, the door is closed and locked. Controls are free. We'll test them again. Up on the left. Down on the right. Up on the right. Down on the left. Forward, backward, rudder, rudder. Controls are free. Fuel selectors are on. The props are full forward. The boost pumps can come on. Instruments have been checked. We've got about north indicating, about north on the compass, about north on the GPS. Altitude is good, airspeed is good. The radios have been set, 122.8 for CTAF. We've got center set up here for departure. Altimeter is set, and on altitude reporting, flaps set to 20. Okay, the temperature's still climbing in here, so I'm inclined to believe that I don't actually know how exactly the heat works in this. I'm sure once we get climbing out, pick up some cool air. The trim is set. It's fine. It's about centered. Pitot heat as desired. We have it on. Parking brake has been released. Okay. And just checking the outside air temperature again. It is still above 0, so we are getting some moisture here. Call traffic. Puerto Aysen traffic, Aerostar number 702 Sierra Bravo will be entering runway 25, and we will be departing straight out to the west and kind of up the valley there. Puerto Aysen traffic. All right. Get lined up here. Turn on our strobes, our other landing light, visibility. Goodness gracious. Didn't mean to do that. Alright, we got our charts pulled up here. We'll go ahead and stow that for right now. Actually, after takeoff checklist, wheels, we'll brake the wheels and bring the gear. The flaps up and then climb. 122 knots. Fuel pumps can come off at 1,000 feet. And power at 24 squared. And trimming for 122 and 160. We try to aim for about 140 in the middle there for climb speed. So, great. Smoothly advance the throttles. the brakes. Guess we'll center our heading bug here just in case. Okay, there's 100 knots. Rotate. Off. Wow, the visibility dropped. Alright, we're immediately gonna autopilot on, heading hold, climbing. We're gonna go over to center and try to get our vector. Commodore Rivadavia Center, Aerostar number 702 Sierra Bravo. We are off of Puerto Aysen, climbing 1,500 for 8,000.
Aerostar November 702 Sierra Bravo, Commodore control departure, radar contact, climb flight level 080.
Climbing flight level 080, Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo. Oh, and just like that, the weather updated and it's clear. Sorry for that.
Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo, contact Puerto Montt Center on 128.3.
Over to Puerto Montt Center, 128.3. Star 2 Sierra Bravo. Puerto Montt Center, Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravos with you, climbing 3,200 for flight level 080.
Aerostar November 702 Sierra Bravo, Puerto Montt Center identified. Good afternoon, Puerto Aysen QNH 997.
Underhood temperatures seem to be climbing a little bit still. Guess it's because they're going so slow. Try to pitch down and gain a little more speed. Underhead temperatures should start to come down a bit now.
Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo, contact Comodoro Rivadavia approach on 124.3.
Over at Comodoro Rivadavia approach 124.3 Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo. Comodoro Rivadavia approach Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo back with you. Climbing 5,600 for flight level 080.
Aerostar November 702 Sierra Bravo, Comodoro Rivadavia approach identified. Good afternoon, Puerto Aysen, QNH 90907.
Wonder if they're gonna vector us over the mountains here or no. Gonna do our climb checklist here. Fuel pumps, so yeah, they can come off. Oops. And the power's good, and yeah, we can still climb, reduce it a little bit more rate of climb if we want. Try to climb out at about 140 here. About 1,000 feet to go. Back into some moisture here, make sure we don't pick up any ice. Of any de-icing equipment other than prop de-ice and pitot heat. I don't think we even have windshield de-ice, so 60 on the cabin temp, so try to get this warmed up. I always forget exactly how this works. Well, there's 8,000 feet. Commodore Rivadavia approach. This is Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo. Should we be expecting a vector towards our destination here shortly, or do you want us to vector ourselves?
Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo vectoring to SCPH shortly.
Hey, firm, thank you. Just wanted to make sure. Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo. Just wasn't 100% sure if they were going to or not, honestly. Cabin temperature's still not coming up. Let's see if I'm missing something here. Heat's on, the fan's on. temperature? Is it that I have to have it pulled back, maybe? Or does the air, defrost air, have to also be open? I don't quite actually remember how that works.
Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo. At your discretion, descend altitude 5,000 feet. QNH 90907.
Descend to 5,000 feet. Our discretion, Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo. I'm not going to descend to that yet because we don't know what they're doing on the vectoring here. Unless they're going to bring us out here and then descend us down. And at this point, they're almost doing exactly what I had wanted to do ourselves, which is come out here and then go north along the coast, come back, so we'll see, I guess. Bring it back to cruise power. It's about cruise power, and we're just gonna roughly lane our mixture here. I guess we can start descending to 5,000. I guess that's what they want. Maybe they won't give us a vector until we start to descend, I'm not too sure. They've not given us a single vector since we've departed. Commodoro, Rivadavia approach. Just want to confirm for Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo. Should we still be on runway heading 250 from Puerto Aysen?
Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo, affirm. Maintain runway heading 250.
Okay, they confirmed it. Well, let's see what they're going to do. Just kind of feels like they're vectoring us so far out here that, we're almost going the distance it would have taken us to get to the airport this way. So I don't fully understand that, but that's why we get paid to fly and they get paid to control, I guess. Sorry about that, guys. I had my microphone muted. I was just saying that basically that we're 86 miles away now from our destination when we were only 61 when we left, and basically if air traffic control doesn't give us a vector soon, we'll probably just turn ourselves north, stay low, and just fly VFR. I'm gonna call again in a couple of minutes here if they haven't given us a vector. Lovely scenery though. Kind of these little island coastal area here is very interesting. 1,000 to go to 5,000 feet. Commodore Rivadavia Center, or approach rather. Aerostar 2CR Bravo would like to request a vector towards our destination, please.
Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo, descend altitude 5,000 feet, turn right heading 025 vectors for the visual runway 36 approach.
Descending 5,000 right to 025 vectors, visual runway 36 approach, Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo, thank you. I do wonder if it was just waiting for me to ask, or if it was just waiting for us to get to 5,000, I'm not sure, but sometimes the AI, air traffic control, seems to have a bit of a problem, which I think part of the problem is that we canceled the IFR and went to VFR flight following, and then we went back to IFR. I think it kind of messed it up a little bit. 94 in here. Jeez. Precipitation again, it's about 0 degrees. I've not seen any ice forming, so that's good, but I've got to keep an eye out for it, because it will start to build up pretty quickly. This might actually be a nice approach. They might kind of vector us right up the valley then. So that would be lovely if that could happen. Not sure if that's like a little bit of like ice over here or what that is. Let's see if we can grab the binoculars and see. Maybe, it kind of looks like a little bit of ice. I've descended below the altitude that we wanted. That's my bad. Taking in the sights a little bit more than I should have been. So we'll just get back in a gentle climb here. Back up the couple hundred feet to 5,000. Engage altitude hold, and then we'll be quiet. We'll get some nice cinematic shots of the outside until we get more vectors for the approach. Alright. Getting a little bit closer here. It's doing 176 knots over the ground, which is not too bad. Although we need to decrease our power setting here a little bit. Shotting it just a little bit. Still not seeing any ice buildup, but still seeing pretty liquid moisture here, so I think we'll be okay. We're a little bit above 0 on the temp, so about 2 degrees Celsius. It's like 35, 36 Fahrenheit, so just warm enough that we're not encountering any icing, which is good. Although, of course, now it's freezing, and here, someday eventually, I will remember to set, how to set the temperature controls in here, and our passengers won't end up with a flu or a cold from constantly changing the temperature on them 5 times during the flight. And while we're at it, we can correctly lean our mixtures. I did something wrong here. So I should be trying to find our highest EGT temperature, which is this top number. It's supposed to lean the fuel mixture until you reach the peak EGT. So I guess we're already too lean. So it looks like the peak is somewhere at like 775-ish. $780. There we go. 790 is peak EGT, roughly. Wow, this is saying that we're 20 below, so maybe it's 800-ish is peak. But anyways, the JPI is supposed to pop up like that, say peak EGT, and maybe I missed what it climbed up to, but essentially it's supposed to lean it then until I think like somewhere in like the 20 to 30 degrees below peak EGT. So we're about 25 below. I'd say that's good. 10.3 gallons per hour on the fuel flow, I'd say is pretty good. And that's about, honestly, what we had leaned it just roughly on our own. So this is just fine tuning. So now we'll lean the left. Go up a bit on the mixture. Just bring it back ever so slowly. Which, I mean, you could assume it would be roughly the same, but it's not always, exactly the same. Just the nice thing about AccuSim aircraft is the engines are actually simulated, so you might, you might have, one engine runs considerably different temperature than the other. There's peak UGT. This is richest. You know, about 25. That seems to be holding about 25. Lena Peak. And you can see cylinder head temperatures are a little bit different, EGT a little bit different. You know, that could also be chalked up to the fact that, you know, maybe our power settings are slightly different. The RPMs are set slightly. Slightly different. That's one of the fun things about flying twin engine. So you get twice as much fun to manage. Alright, checking back. Temperatures looking okay. Cabin temperatures come up. Okay. So it's got to be pulled all the way out as heat. Because now we're at 73, which is pretty decent. Wow, this weather is just not the best, is it? Need to turn one of the landing lights off. We'll actually turn them both off. We're not, actually, wait, yeah, we are below transition altitude here, I believe. I think it's 6,000 feet. Don't quote me on that. Not the greatest view out the window today, but definitely some interesting terrain. These kind of hilly, mountainous areas, which is honestly a little spooky to be flying in this kind of visibility. It's just it's pretty poor. There are no published instrument approaches into this airport, so we're hoping that we can that we'll be able to fly in here visually. We will see about that. Obviously, the water's a pretty good guide as far as getting to the airport in general, but I don't know if you can see here, but the airport's like kind of on this little peninsula that juts out into the water, and the water continues a little ways past. But it's surrounded, you know, by terrain on both sides, so it'll be a little bit challenging to deal with. We're still 42 miles away. We're about 16 minutes, according to the GPS at least. So hopefully they will vector us shortly. It really shouldn't take this long. You know, we should have just climbed over the mountains and just went direct. I don't know why they were so hesitant to vector us, but I think I might have messed up by asking for canceling the IFR and all that. I think maybe it was a mistake, and I think it kind of confused them a little bit. So I'll submit a bug report afterwards as to, you know, why it seemed like it was taking them so long to vector us. I mean, we're supposed to be flying a visual approach into this airport, you know, they should be turning us any second. I mean, right along this, I would think, to kind of avoid this terrain, but again, I'm not air traffic control, so maybe that's a misconception on my part as being used to being the pilot. I would think that would be the way to do it, but maybe not. Maybe they're trying to have us go, you know, as direct as possible, which does seem to be the general direction they have us headed. So as long as they keep us out of this terrain, I'm happy. It's just poor visibility weather, so I think I'm a little hesitant to trust them to not fly me into the side of one of these mountains here. But I will say that Say Intentions does a better job of it than default air traffic control, like in the FSX days. I mean, granted, that was, what, almost 2 decades ago now that FSX came out. So it was obviously different times, different technology, but its air traffic control would fly you into all kinds of terrain, no questions asked. So anything we have nowadays is a major improvement. Does seem like the bottoms of this cloud layer might be increasing a little bit. It's getting a little bit more visibility here at 5,000, so I'm hoping that once we descend more for the visual, that we'll have a clear picture. .28 miles to go. We're really getting a lot of turbulence here, flying over this little mountain ridge here, assuming then the wind. Surprised we're actually getting a little bit of updraft, it seems like, because the way the wind is coming from, I would have thought we would get a little bit of a downdraft, but we do have water down below, so maybe that has something to do with it, although it's pretty cold out, so I wouldn't assume there would be much thermal activity off the water, but that could also be a misunderstanding on my part of how that works. In other news, for those of you who know me, and have any history with me in my time in the flight sim community, you might know that I'm a big fan of Piaggio's Avanti. I really love the P180. It's been one of my favorite aircraft ever since Flight Simulator X. Trying to think of the developer that made the Avanti. But I actually, I was a kid when that released, and I didn't have any of my own money or anything, and so instead of flying that one, I flew a freeware Piaggio Avanti 2 that I downloaded off of somewhere like AvSim, or those of you old timers like me will remember the likes of AvSim, giant freeware repositories. Now we have FlightSim.to, probably what a lot of you more modern day flight sim enthusiasts are used to using, especially with the Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 and 2024. It almost seems like FlightSim.to has kind of taken over in that aspect. But yeah, I had a Piaggio Avanti 2 from AvSim that I had downloaded, and really love that plane. It fascinated me back then, and in 2000, it's probably like 2009, 2010 maybe. Or no, let me think. No, it would have been closer to 2008, 2009 maybe. I can't remember. But either way, almost 2 decades ago, I was flying the P-180, and it was one of my favorite aircraft. And here recently, Flight FX have released their Piaggio P-180 Avanti 2.
Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo, descend altitude 4,000 feet, turn right, heading 040.
Down to 4,000 feet, right to 040, Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo. Alright, starting our descent. Anyways, back in the day I would fly the Piaggio Avanti, and now we have it for Flight Sim 2024, and so eventually, one of the things I'm going to do after we finish this Pan American series, I was not 100% sure what the next kind of large series that we were going to do was going to be, but I think now I've decided I'll probably do, I haven't decided if I'll do around the world flights. But I definitely am going to be doing some trips in the Avanti. That is one of my favorite aircraft of all time, and just picked it up the other day off Marketplace. It was like $24, $25, really cheap. Super nice aircraft. Flown it a couple of times, really nice. And yeah, we're going to be taking some flights in it. And as well, I think after we finish this major series, we'll probably go to some more, I'm going to try to do some more non-series episodes, just kind of one-off flights, and that way I can take requests for specific aircraft, specific destinations, stuff like that. But yeah, at least in the short term, it won't be anything new. Long term, I'll be trying to finish up this series, and then eventually we'll switch over to doing some more varied.
Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo, 8 miles from the approach turn. Turn left heading 025, descend altitude 3,000 feet until established. Cleared for the visual runway 36 approach.
Left to 025, descend to 3,000 until established. Cleared visual 36, Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo. Right, we're cleared for the approach. I'm gonna bring the power back. Try to get down to 3,000 and then get some flaps in. I'm gonna run our approach checklist. So the boost pumps come back on, mixtures can come full rich, fuel selectors are on, flaps can go to 20 degrees once we level off and get below 175 knots, and then the gear down below 157. We'll check the gear, lights are on. Hydraulic pressure, we'll check after the gear is down. And then 140 knots on the approach. Going to disable the autopilot because take a little bit of manual control here. They've got us a bit on the wind, I think, really has blown us off course. I mean, you can see here it's almost 20 knots from the left.
Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo, Puyuhuapi Airport at your 1 o'clock 9 miles. Change to advisory frequency approved. Report cancellation of IFR or missed approach this frequency. Safe flight.
Frequency change approved. I'll be over to advisory and then we'll report cancellation or miss this frequency. Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo. Talk to you soon. Puyuhuapi traffic, Aerostar number 702 Sierra Bravo. We're inbound about 7 miles for the visual 3-6 approach. Puyuhuapi. Trim off a little bit of the speed. I have the runway in sight. I just don't want to shock cool the engines too much. Drop to 20 degrees of flaps now. And there's about 157. We'll drop the gear. The hydraulic pressure's coming down as the gear drops. We're in the white arc so we can drop full flaps. Puyuhuapi traffic, Aerostar inbound, runway 36 visual approach, about 4.5 miles. Full stop landing, Puyuhuapi. Right, there's the runway. We're quite a bit high, but that's alright. Aerostar is more than capable of kind of dropping it in here. That looks much better. I trim off some of that speed. Glad the minimum's cleared up because this is a gorgeous area to be flying into.
Cacique Blanco traffic, Charlie Charlie Mike Victor. Whiskey taxiing to runway 22, Cacique Blanco.
Okay, that's not for us. Wow. 15 knot crosswind. Oh boy, oh boy. Still trying to trim off this airspeed a little bit. And I'm going to increase the RPM to full RPM before touchdown. Technically it calls for it only after touchdown, but just because of the terrain here, and just because in case of a go around, I don't want to have to be trying to fumble with the RPM once we're on the ground and with this wind. Puyuhuapi traffic, Aerostar, short final runway 36, Puyuhuapi. A little fast. A little low. That's okay. Want to carry the extra airspeed a little bit because it's just crosswind. Alright, whoa. Actually, didn't seem to be too bad, I don't think. I think there's a small bug there with FS Realistic on the touchdown. It almost skews the viewpoint way above where it should be. Just pull off onto the apron here. Puyuhuapi traffic, Aerostar 2 Sierra Bravo, we're clear of the active and we're on the apron. Last call, Puyuhuapi. Right, well, guess I shouldn't have said last call, it's not true. Last call for now, at least. There's really nothing here at this airport, or at least in this depiction of the scenery. Okay, this seems to be as good a parking place as any. We're gonna park up, get these passengers unloaded, take a quick restroom break, and then we'll see where we're headed to next. So let's just get this thing cleaned up a little bit. Boost pumps off. Flaps coming up, the landing lights. Strobes can come off. Oh my goodness, see what I did again? What's the temperature? 106. I'm gonna have to figure out the temperature while we're on a break here, and then because that's too warm to be keeping it in here. We'll set the parking brake. Make sure FS Economy ends the flight. What you did says our flight is logged. Okay. Turn off the avionics master and shut down. There's that bug again. Right, mags off. Fuel selectors off. Hydraulic valve closed. Blowers off. Fan off. Alternators and the battery off. Beacon off. Right, everything's off. Boost pumps and fuel selectors off. Mags off. Hydraulic valve is off. Those are off, off, off. Alright, like I said, we will get these people, these fine folks, unloaded here, and we will see where we're headed to next. Gorgeous scenery here. Mountains in the background and a lot of tree foliage. Very nice. Alright, I will be back with you all here momentarily. Hey everyone, just coming back to let you guys know that I decided I'm going to call it here for this episode, because the next episode will probably be a bit of a longer leg. So I thank you guys very much for joining me on this journey, and yeah, I will see you guys next time. Until then, take care, stay safe, and I will see you guys next time. Happy flying.